Ever found yourself in situations where your kindness seems to cause more chaos than calm? Picture this. You're the go-to person, the one always ready to lend a hand, a shoulder, or an ear. But somewhere along the way, being excessively kind might have thrown a few curveballs your way. Welcome to the world of Stoicism, where the path to virtue meets the reality of life's pitfalls. While kindness is a beacon of positivity, even the brightest lights cast shadows. So what happens when the noble art of kindness goes rogue, drifting away from its intended course? Join us as we delve into the unexpected, sometimes treacherous, realms where being too kind can unknowingly lead to downfall. In the universe of Stoicism, where balance and resilience reign supreme, discover how the seemingly altruistic can sometimes carry an unexpected burden. Let's uncover the 10 ways how kindness will kill you through the lens of Stoic wisdom. Number 1. The illusion of control. Sometimes, being kind might make us think we can control everything. But here's the twist. We can't control how others react or what happens around us. You see, when we're too kind, we might believe we can make everyone happy or fix everything. But life doesn't always follow our plans. Ever felt frustrated when things didn't go the way you hoped, even though you tried your best? That's the tricky part of thinking we can control it all. Let's take a real-life example. Imagine offering advice to a friend going through a tough time. You pour your heart into helping, offering guidance and support. But instead of following the advice, they repeatedly ask for loans, promising to pay you back. Despite your kindness and genuine desire to help, they don't repay what they owe. It's frustrating, isn't it? That's the illusion of control at play. You might feel powerless, wondering why your kindness didn't lead to the expected outcome, a friend heeding your advice and respecting your trust. This situation highlights the limits of our control over others' actions and decisions. So, what can we do? Let's approach it with Stoicism. Stoicism encourages us to set healthy boundaries without withdrawing kindness. It reminds us to offer help without compromising our well-being or values. In a similar scenario, we might choose to help in ways that align with our boundaries and values, ensuring our kindness doesn't become a source of frustration or exploitation. Number 2. Overextending yourself. Ever found yourself saying yes to everything, trying to help everyone, but ending up feeling drained and overwhelmed? That's the pitfall of overextending yourself. Imagine this. You're asked to help with tasks, listen to problems, and support various causes. You dive in, eager to assist, but soon, you're juggling so much that your own well-being takes a back seat. This is a common trap when kindness leads us to overcommit. We might feel pressured to solve every problem, neglecting our own needs in the process. Stoicism teaches us to balance our kindness with self-care. It's like when you're on an airplane and they say, put on your oxygen mask first before helping others. Taking care of ourselves isn't selfish. It's necessary for us to be in a position to help others effectively. So, how can we apply this Stoic wisdom? It's about learning to say no when necessary, setting realistic limits on what we can handle, and prioritizing our well-being without guilt. By understanding our own limits and honoring our needs, we can offer genuine and sustainable kindness, ensuring we're not spreading ourselves too thin. Number 3. Expectation of reciprocity. Ever felt disappointed when your kindness wasn't returned in the way you expected? That's the pitfall of expecting reciprocity. Picture this. You offer your time, support, or even a simple gesture, anticipating similar kindness in return. But sometimes, it doesn't happen. You might feel let down or unappreciated. This is a common trap when we expect others to reciprocate our kindness. Stoicism reminds us that true kindness comes from within, not as a transaction expecting something in return. Stoicism teaches us to practice amor fati, the love of fate. It encourages us to give freely, detached from the outcome or others' responses. Instead of tethering our kindness to expectations, we sow it as an expression of our own values and virtues. By embracing the Stoic idea of letting go of expectations, we free ourselves from the disappointment that arises when others don't reciprocate. We nurture a genuine, unconditional kindness, independent of external reactions. Number 4. Conflict avoidance. Ever found yourself stepping back from conflicts or tough conversations to maintain peace, even when it goes against what you truly believe? That's the trap of conflict avoidance. Imagine this. You have differing opinions or concerns but choose silence or compliance to prevent conflict. While it might seem easier in the moment, It can leave you feeling unheard or unfulfilled. This tendency to avoid conflict arises from the desire to maintain harmony. However, Stoicism teaches us that constructive conflict isn't about discord, but an opportunity for growth. In Stoicism, apatheia isn't about suppressing emotions but achieving a balanced mind. It encourages addressing conflicts with rationality and understanding, not avoidance. So, how do we apply this Stoic wisdom? It's about embracing discomfort as a path to resolution. Instead of shying away, we engage in respectful dialogues, focusing on understanding rather than winning. By adopting the Stoic notion of apatheia and embracing conflicts as opportunities for learning, we navigate disagreements with grace, fostering understanding without fear of discord. Number 5. Boundary setting. Feeling like you're juggling too much? You know, when everyone needs a piece of your time and you find it hard to say no? It's like being pulled in every direction because your boundaries aren't crystal clear. Imagine this. You're continuously saying yes to requests or demands, stretching yourself thin. Eventually, you're left feeling drained and without time for your own needs. This is a common pitfall when our kindness leads us to overlook our boundaries. Stoicism reminds us that setting boundaries isn't about selfishness but self-preservation. In Stoicism, apatheia isn't about suppressing emotions but achieving a balanced mind. It encourages us to discern between commitments that align with our values and those that don't. So, how do we implement this Stoic wisdom? It's about understanding our limits and learning to say yes to what truly matters while gracefully declining what doesn't align. By embracing the Stoic principle of apatheia and setting clear boundaries, we ensure our kindness is sustainable and not at the expense of our own well-being. Number 6. Dependency on external validation. In life, we often find ourselves seeking validation from others to confirm our worth. That's the snare of dependency on external validation. Imagine this. You make choices or express yourself, constantly seeking approval or praise from others. When it's lacking, you feel unsure or inadequate. This reliance on external validation arises from the belief that our worth is determined by others' opinions. Stoicism teaches us that true fulfillment comes from within, not from external approval. In Stoicism, ataraxia isn't about indifference but achieving inner tranquility. It guides us to value our principles and actions regardless of external opinions. So, how do we embrace this Stoic teaching? It's about learning to trust our own judgment and finding contentment within ourselves, understanding that our worth isn't determined by others' perceptions. By practicing ataraxia and freeing ourselves from the need for constant external validation, we find a more profound sense of self-assurance and fulfillment from within. Number 7. Loss of authenticity. Ever felt like you're wearing a mask, suppressing your true self to fit in or meet others' expectations? That's the cost of the loss of authenticity. Imagine this. You modify your behavior, opinions, or even passions to align with what you believe others want. It might seem like an easy path to acceptance, but deep down, it erodes your sense of authenticity. The loss of authenticity occurs when we prioritize external expectations over expressing our true selves. Stoicism teaches us that embracing our true nature is key to genuine fulfillment. In Stoicism, eudaimonia isn't about fleeting pleasures but the lasting joy derived from living in accordance with our values and authentic self. It encourages us to be true to ourselves, even if it means standing apart from the crowd. So, how do we apply this Stoic principle? It's about shedding the masks we wear for societal approval and allowing our true selves to shine. By embracing authenticity, we cultivate a sense of fulfillment that goes beyond external validations. In a world that often pressures conformity, practicing eudaimonia enables us to live authentically and find true contentment in expressing who we genuinely are. Number 8. Resentment and burnout. Ever found yourself simmering with resentment or feeling utterly exhausted, both emotionally and mentally? That's the toll of resentment and burnout. Picture this. You keep giving and giving, often neglecting your own needs, until you're running on empty. The bitterness of unexpressed feelings and the fatigue of overextending lead to a state of burnout. Resentment and burnout often stem from neglecting self-care and overcommitting without replenishing ourselves. Stoicism highlights the importance of balancing our efforts with self-preservation. In Stoicism, ataraxia isn't about indifference but achieving inner tranquility. It guides us to recognize our limits and practice self-compassion without overstretching. So, how do we navigate this? It's about setting realistic boundaries, honoring our needs, and expressing ourselves instead of bottling up emotions. By embracing self-care and practicing ataraxia, we safeguard ourselves from resentment and burnout. In a world that glorifies relentless productivity, integrating Stoic principles of balance allows us to avoid the traps of resentment and burnout, fostering resilience and inner peace. Number 9. The pitfalls of emotional attachment. Have you ever felt like you're holding on to emotions or desires with an iron grip, unable to release them? That's the maze of pitfalls created by emotional attachment. Imagine this. You become deeply attached to specific outcomes, relationships, or even ideas, believing your happiness relies on their success or existence. But this attachment often leads to distress when things don't go as planned. The pitfalls of emotional attachment lie in the belief that our happiness depends on external circumstances. Stoicism teaches us that true contentment arises from within, not from external factors. In Stoicism, apatheia isn't about suppressing emotions but achieving a balanced mind. It guides us to acknowledge our emotions without letting them dictate our well-being. So, how do we navigate the tangles of emotional attachment? It's about embracing the present moment, acknowledging emotions without clinging to them, and recognizing that our happiness isn't contingent upon external conditions. By practicing apatheia and loosening the grip of emotional attachment, we liberate ourselves from the roller coaster of external influences, fostering inner peace and resilience. Number 10. The balance of kindness. So, how do we strike the balance between kindness and self-preservation? It's about understanding that true kindness doesn't require sacrificing our well-being. Imagine this. You offer genuine kindness without depleting your own resources or compromising your values. It's an equilibrium where your empathy and generosity coexist harmoniously with self-care and healthy boundaries. The key lies in Stoic wisdom, embracing virtues like compassion and empathy while safeguarding our own mental and emotional health. In Stoicism, eudaimonia isn't about fleeting pleasures, but the lasting joy derived from living authentically and in accordance with our values. Before we end, if you found this exploration of kindness and Stoicism insightful, remember to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more thought-provoking content. By practicing a balanced kindness rooted in Stoic principles, we foster a world where empathy coexists with personal well-being, creating a ripple effect of genuine compassion and resilience.